And we're back. Choke City Podcast. We're here. It's me. It's David. It's Harley, if you can see her. Her asshole's probably going to show up more. This is our guest, Steve Cantwell.
Hey ho.
Steve Cantwell, everybody. Before we get started with our dear friend Steve here, if you'd like and subscribe the podcast, we really appreciate it. Helps us a lot. You can follow us on Instagram. We have a Choke City Podcast Instagram. Go follow us. You guys follow me and David, but go follow our podcast. Steve, you want to shout out your No, Steve actually can't. Steve can't talk about his socials. You can't follow Steve, but you can follow me and David at the John Meyer at David Voss Comedy. And that's our intro, guys. And now we're here with Steve. And Steve,
how you doing?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Pretty
living the dream.
Pretty good, man.
I like your cat.
Harley, yep, she's great. She is our third host.
I like your digs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. So what's going on with this thing? Why can't you be on social media?
I can be on. So I stayed off social media for a long time because I was in some kind of a Bush League witness protection from the state of Ohio. So I turned my...
Of course it's Ohio.
Of course. They got no money for prop. So I turned my business partner in the 90s for murdering a bunch of people.
Okay. That'll do it.
Yeah. And so long story short, there wasn't any physical proof that he did it. It was just... the fact that he told me all these details about these murders that weren't in them.
Wow.
So essentially, the state of Ohio wasn't willing to, put up all the money that it costs for a capital murder trial unless I was willing to let them relocate me temporarily so that I couldn't be intimidated or murdered to try to keep my testimony from happening. So they sent me to Alaska. And
that'd be the place to go if you want to disappear.
Yeah, from Orlando. I was in Orlando when all this went down. The murders happened in Ohio and Orlando.
So where are you from? No, you're not from Orlando.
No, I grew up in Utah.
Yeah, because you're Mormon.
And then basically, the first time I went to Alaska, I went there for a radio job. So I've actually lived in Alaska twice.
Jesus.
First time was in a straight-up Eskimo village.
Wow.
It's called Dillingham. No roads in or out. I went up there. I had worked in radio when I was in high school, from the time that I was 14 till I was 18, because my dad was in radio. My dad was kind of a quasi-locally famous radio guy. And
Hey, welcome back to Steve Cantwell.
Yeah, kind of that.
AM morning radio.
Afternoon drive was my jam, but in Utah, there was this magazine called Radio and Records that advertised radio jobs, and there was this phenomenally paying job in this Eskimo village, working for an NPR station.
But is it just that village?
Yeah, just that village.
Why the fuck do they need radio if they don't have roads?
Because they're basically broadcasting NPR into Russia.
Oh.
So you're that far over there.
Yeah, you're right across from Russia.
Wow. I didn't know what
they put these big flamethrower AM radio stations that just broadcast NPR, which is basically...
So you speak Russian?
No. It's American.
Dude,
it's in English.
Are you Russian intelligence, Steve?
Yeah.
You're infiltrating the Houston open mic comedy scene.
First rule of Russian intelligence is don't admit to being in Russian intelligence.
Putin is like, I got to know what fucking Anthony Kyle's up to. like, Steve, get in there.
That's right. That's the real reason behind my war with that guy in the wheelchair.
He's a Mossad agent.
Yeah,
You're trying to get some dirt on him.
Basically spy versus spy.
That's a little inside baseball for all the choke chickens out there, dude. So, Steve Cantwell is our friend. He's a very good comedian. And we have this other friend who does comedy, and he's in a wheelchair. His name's Tony. His name's Tony Martinez. And Steve hates him. Steve fucking hates him,
He's a
dude.
dirty anti-Semite.
Yeah, he is. But
He is. I don't like that. And the fact that he's in a wheelchair, he doesn't get a pass from me. My dad was in a wheelchair, so that doesn't scare me at all.
Every time I talk to you, I feel like I learned something new, or you're just lying to me.
Listen, Everything I say on stage is a lie. Everything I tell you, just me and you.
This is kind of a stage in a way, though.
Yeah, we got hundreds.
Comedy is fiction. This is reality. Reality TV.
Okay. Yeah, we have a bunch of feet perverts in here. They love us.
That's what you want.
Yeah, that's how you get a start.
Just close up of what your cat's doing right now.
Yeah, a bunch of those guys are doing the same thing.
Jawbone deep in its own pussy.
Okay, so what brought you to Florida? When was this, by the way? Around what year?
1988.
Wow.
Something like that. So 88, I go to Dillingham for the first time. I work on the radio. Have a little cleaning business. Basically earn money for my Mormon mission.
Dillingham is in Alaska?
Yeah, Bush, Alaska.
Okay.
No roads in or out. So in Alaska, they can't build roads because the tundra. You can't build roads on the tundra.
Permafrost.
How do you get in and out of there?
You fly or you take a boat. And the boat has to go all the way out and around that elephant tusk-shaped chain of islands called the Aleutians. And
So
then
you
back
lived...
in the ass crack of nowhere.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Is it true, like in the Simpsons movie, like they give you checks, they give you money?
Yes, it is.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the permanent fund dividends. So when Alaska was settled, they situated in such a way that because it was full of oil. So they take half of the oil and they give it to the
indigenous, right?
No, they take half the oil and they give it to the oil companies, and then the other half gets split up. Half of that goes to run the state government, completely fund all the schools and everything, and the other half gets distributed amongst every man, woman, and child that dares to live out there. There's only 500,000 people that live in that whole state.
Yeah, fuck the indigenous.
And that state's the size of the western half of the United States.
Yeah.
My parents just went over there, and they're like, the roads are shit. They took an RV, and they're like, the roads are shit. We saw too many bears. They went to North Pole, Alaska, which is like basically the edge of the...
It's where Santa Claus lives.
Yeah, it's up there by Fairbanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the little town Cantwell.
I don't know if
Fairbanks is where the
Emancipation Proclamation.
Man in the Wild. Fuck. What is that called? Fuck.
Yeah, Christopher McCandless.
Yes. God, what was that? Into the Wild.
Yeah.
Great book. Love that book.
That guy was a fucking...
Is that the guy that died in the...
Yes. Fucking
just starvation?
Yeah.
I saw that on
it was a great movie, though. Loved the movie.
Yeah, but
yeah, that guy was kind of like, dude,
like
you could
have
fucking...
Yes.
Could have done a lot of things to prevent your situation, pal.
Dude, he did everything wrong. The kind of shoes he brought up there, just everything.
Yeah.
Brought a 22. What are you going to kill with a 22?
The fuck,
Small
dude?
game.
I watched the movie. Zach Galifianakis played a retard, and he helped them. And he was like, "You got to get on before the critters get on there. Once the critters are on there, it's over. It's useless." He was really good in that movie.
So I marry this chick in the Eskimo village.
What's that reception
Shut
like?
the fuck up, dude.
Yeah.
Shut up. Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Dude, I read somewhere Alaska has it's all single men.
Yes, there's no women up there.
But dude,
So I go into town and it's like, because I'm just out of high school when I roll into town. So there's not very many girls my age because they've all mostly gone to college. There's like 3 or 4 in this little town that are my age. And they, as soon as I come into town, they're just like,
That perk up.
Yeah, that's a trip out of this fucking village,
Yeah.
So the girl that I ended up marrying, she used to just come up to the radio station and take off her clothes and chase me around the radio station and try to get me to touch her.
Yeah.
Because I was Mormon and I wasn't going to do anything.
Dude,
like
it
that.
happens to us with the podcast all the time.
Except ladies, it's dudes.
All the time. It's so annoying.
Yeah. She
quit showing up at the studio and trying to take your clothes off. Anyway, sorry, Steve.
What's the reception like at that?
So
you guys all piling into an igloo.
So she talks me into fucking her first, which takes weeks.
Wow.
For her to trick me.
Not minutes?
No.
Well,
it's weeks.
The underwear, it's hard to get that underwear off.
At first I'm appalled, literally get away from me. Then I'm like, I'll look, and then get away from me, and then I'll look for longer. It's like every day, just a little bit incrementally breaking me down like Guantanamo Bay kind of shit.
She's waterboarding you
She's
with pussy.
She's slowly waterboarding me with that 18-year-old pussy.
So you guys are like 18, 19,
Yeah.
get married.
Yep.
What is your? Oh, I'm sorry. You
So
go
she
on.
tricks me into fucking her. I show up the very next day.
Yeah, tricked.
She did. She was like, rub it on the outside, and then I'm rubbing it on the outside, and she's like, it's practically in. You might as well fuck me.
Oh, and you're already.
Yeah, and I'm like, well, I'm already going to hell, so I might as well go to hell with wet balls. So
Yeah.
So I fuck her. It's fantastic. I feel terrible about it immediately because I'm going to hell now. So the way you can make it better though is you make it worse by marrying them. So I go to the Eskimo everything store. There's one store in town that sells everything from wedding rings to bacon beans, you know, and
Wow.
so I go and buy a couple of wedding bands at the little same counter that they sell handguns in, and show up. She's still in high school, so I show up at the high school that she's graduating from in a few months, and ask her if she'll marry me. She immediately is like, "Fuck yes, let's do it right now." And
What?
Yeah. So we just are like, okay, and we go down to the court. She gets out of school.
So you have to wait for her to get out of algebra.
She checks herself out of school and just like, I'm going to get married, and they're like, okay, have fun.
I got adult stuff to do.
And then we go to the courthouse, which is the building next door, and we say, how do you get married? And they said you fill out this form and you fax it in this fax machine into Juneau, and then they'll fax you back a license, and then you're married.
You're married.
And so that's what we did, and that took like a half of an hour. And after that was done, we were like, well, we should celebrate in some way. So we decided we're just going to have a basic ceremony. We grabbed my friend and her dad and brother, and we just
What did her dad and brother think?
They were surprisingly fine with it,
Which
should have clued me into what I was in for. They were like, absolutely.
Were they
marry her.
like rednecky kind of?
He was a cop there in town. They had moved there from Minnesota, and they basically looked around at the guys that they thought that she was going to marry from this Eskimo village, and then they saw this guy show up, you know, with a job that's only going to be there temporarily.
All of his teeth.
And he's like, okay, that's better than I could have imagined it going. So yeah, go ahead. And he had my blessing. He gave me his blessing after we had already sent the fax, so it was too fucking late.
Doesn't matter.
So
wow.
So that's how I got married, and that's the reason I didn't end up going on a Mormon mission. So instead,
how do you tell the Mormon church?
You kind of did in a way. Did you get her to convert?
Yes, of course. She would have joined anything that I said.
Dude,
I could have said, let's become.
You kind of did your mission.
Yeah, let's join the KKK, and she would have been like, fine, just get me out of this fucking Eskimo village.
Really, that's all it took?
Yes, just get me out of this Eskimo village. So we moved from Dillingham to Anchorage, where she had a volleyball scholarship.
Bougie.
Yeah.
She was a volleyball player? Bro, how'd you fuck this up?
I was married for 21 years.
Okay.
Wow, to this same girl.
Yeah.
Dude, you have a crazy life, Steve. Go on.
Yeah. So, lived in Anchorage for a little while, and she went to college. And then my dad got into a bad car accident and got paralyzed.
Oh shit!
And so I just as soon as I got the phone call, I just jumped on the next plane and went down to Salt Lake, where he was in intensive care, and stayed. And then he wasn't getting better, and so I just called her and was like, "Hey, I can't leave my dad. You know, he's in intensive care." So I quit my job. I was working as an accountant for a contractor that moved military people in and out of the state.
Through Anchorage, just so they have they have a big.
How did you? Oh, sorry.
No,
how
you're
did
good.
you get a job as an accountant, but you didn't go to college?
So for 4 years in high school, I was the accountant for our family's little service station. Like, I didn't actually twist the wrenches, but I took 4 years of accounting classes and got work release so that during the day for a couple of hours I could go keep the books at our family's service station. So I did know, like...
You had connections to
I had a smattering of knowledge. And in Alaska, it's really hard for them to find people to fill any position. So the fact that I
thought you had any experience. They're like, you're
fuck
hired.
Yes, you're hired. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So, you know...
Sorry to cut you off. I want to know, like, for the Mormon church part, like you have sex with this lady,
Yeah.
and then you basically get married same day, same next day kind of thing, right?
Yep.
And what's that like? She converts. How's
Yeah. So.
like you guys call into the Mormon headquarters like, hey, I got a live one.
Well, we moved to Anchorage, and I started going to church because I was very religious at the time. So she just started coming with me, and because I asked her before I married her, I was like, "Do you want to be Mormon?" And she's like, "Yeah," even though she knew nothing about it. So and I said, "Do you want to know anything about it?" And she's like, "Not really."
Surprised
me. Yeah. So we went to Anchorage, and then I started going to church. And then the first Sunday, the missionaries came up and introduced themselves, and I was like, "Hey, this is my new wife, and she wants to get married." And they're like, "Oh, we'll come give her the discussions." The discussions are these 12 lessons that they give you to talk people into being Mormon. The first discussion, she's like, "Yeah, I want to be Mormon." And they're like, "You don't want to go through She's like, "You can go through them if you want to, but I'm telling you right now, I want to be Mormon." And so they were like, wow. They went through them as fast as they could, immediately baptized her.
What was she beforehand?
Nothing.
Just like
her dad was Christian. They were Christian. She was, she had been fucking the boyfriend before me. So it's not like she was.
Yeah, she was doused
She
in
was
sin.
normal, and just willing to be whatever it took to get the fuck out of there.
Wow, this is a smart woman.
I didn't see any of this, by the way. I saw somebody who there were a lot of red flags, but I was like, the power of God, the power of religion, the power
this
of
helped me
love
convert someone.
is gonna, maybe this is what I'm supposed to. She's so important.
Yeah, this is God's plan kind of thing.
Yeah, so you tuck your head nice and far up your ass.
Yeah, I mean that happens anytime.
Yeah.
And plus pussy, anytime, anywhere.
You're crazy. You're crazy for that. Because before that, I can't masturbate. So I'm just... I'm a live wire.
You're bucking at Chinese women. You're just...
Dude, I could strike spark in any direction. You rub up against the wall and you moan because it feels good because you just can't. You're not allowed to touch it. You roll over, in bed and you moan because you're not allowed to touch it.
Yeah, you get an urge. You start shadow boxing. That's
What about soaking?
Yeah, I never did that. Well, that's a new thing. Well, So soaking is essentially you put your dick in a girl and you can't move because if you move, it's fucking. I never did that, but I had a girl in high school that I dated for 2.5 years, and we only did oral. That's it. And that was because if we fucked, that meant we would have to go and confess that to the church, and her dad was our bishop. And they would have immediately told us to break up because that's what you do. So if you want to keep your girlfriend, you don't fuck her.
Or you get married to her, right?
Well, we were in high school, so that would have been a tougher sell.
Wow, because I was like, man. Okay, so you hadn't masturbated, but like you had a little...
I had masturbated before. I had actually had sex once before, but repented of it. When I was 16, I had sex with a girl on a piano bench at a university.
Dude, being Mormon sounds sick.
In a practice room, no locking doors or whatsoever. But she was like, I took piano lessons at the university, and there were non-Mormon girls at the university, and I was just in there playing the piano with this girl, and she just reached over and took my hand and put it between her legs, and I just squeezed her between her legs, and then she just reaches over and turns the lights off, and just lays me down on the piano bench and
she took advantage of you.
Kinda.
This is.
I was like, this
damn. We should have gave you a rape kit.
She wasn't my piano. She wasn't a teacher. She was a student my same age. But so I had done that once and apologized to me. Cried all the way home. By the way, 16-year-old boy.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Dude, I had a totally different experience. I was elated. I was top of the world.
Yeah, it was horrible for me, But
to get back on track, I want to know, like, so your dad got in the car accident, and then what happened with your wife then?
So I call her and I'm like, hey, this happened. Obviously I can't get him back up, so. She's like, that's cool. I'm not really feeling school, and everybody on my volleyball team is a lesbian. So
shocker.
Yes. What did you think?
I thought that was the basketball team.
So she's like, I'm just gonna drop out of school and I'm gonna come down there with you. I'll just sell everything. We didn't own shit anyway. We owned a car and enough clothes to put in a suitcase. We'd only really been in Anchorage for 3 months.
But she's lived there her entire life.
Well, not...
Well,
she
out
lived
in
Dillingham. She'd visited Anchorage before, but she'd never lived there before. Anchorage is very small, 250,000 people.
God damn.
So she got out, dude.
She got out. She went as far... But by the way, she was like one of those creatures from the bottom of the ocean. When then they pull them up to the surface, they like explode because they can't handle the change of pressure. Because she had grown up in this been in this Eskimo village since middle school, had hardly never visited out of it.
Yeah, you know everybody in the small town.
Yeah, and I drop her into Salt Lake City, which is 1 million people.
Yeah.
And she had panic attacks. She would just stay in the house.
Really?
Naked and watch TV. She wouldn't get a job. She wouldn't go to the grocery store.
That's what I want for my wife.
So you were living the dream, and then?
So we lived in Salt Lake City for a little while. My dad was never going to get better, so we remodeled our house. So it was basically like a hospital. So the doors were 6 feet wide because he had a gigantic wheelchair. And to give him a bath, there was a forklift-looking device that would just a swing hoist thing, and then you would wheel him into a gigantic shower area where you basically like a car wash, you know. And so that took a complete remodel. Nursing, he needed 24-hour nursing, so we remodeled, took one of the bedrooms and made it a nursing station with a break room and stuff like that. And then just the family moved downstairs. You know, so he was just...
He got the upstairs kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. So we got him all settled, and he couldn't talk anymore, so this radio thing was done. So he he had been directing plays and musicals and stuff like that, so he went back to doing that
just
a little
writing?
bit. No, he would go direct musicals and plays and just...
Disabled.
Disabled. He was just... So my stepmother... He would, because he couldn't talk, so he could make whispering noises, and so he would whisper in her ear, and then she'd yell the stage direction.
Damn, that's some Fan of the Opera shit. That's...
Yeah. So he looked like he was settled. So then I needed to get on with my life, and I had been living this whole time just over the mountain.
And no stand-up before all this.
For me?
Yeah.
Lots of acting.
Really?
So I was a child actor, professional child actor. Got paid to do
and
it.
diddled.
No, my dad was a serious actor who went to a serious university that had a really good theater arts program, and so he had wanted to be an actor. My mom kind of tricked him, got pregnant by flushing her pills down the toilet. And so he kind of got fucked out of being an actor because he had to become a dad right away. And so he wanted that for me. So he kind of raised me like I was meant to be famous. So I got really first-class acting lessons for a decade, dancing lessons, piano lessons, singing lessons.
Can you still do all those things?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about you. So you were just in plays?
Plays, and I did a couple of TV pilots and just a whole bunch of shit.
Anything we would know?
Nothing we would know.
I auditioned for movies that you would have heard of, but I never was in a movie that you heard of. I did a pilot for what did eventually become a program on Nickelodeon, where they dump slime on your head.
Oh, you got out scot-free, brother.
Yeah,
you almost got slimed yourself.
Yeah.
Dude.
But
we're trying to get slimed right now with the pod game.
But yeah, nothing, but going to auditions and stuff like that. And then I did radio. So I did a ton of radio. Was good at radio. Did a bunch of impressions and make silly little songs and record.
And I imagine like you always like saw stand up and were like, that's something. That'd be something for me.
Well, because Mormons don't really do stand-up. It seemed like every other way of performing was open to me except for stand-up.
Really?
For some
reason. It was taboo a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. And then when I was 45 or 40-something, 41, 42, I got a divorce and stopped being Mormon. And just because I had this crazy Salvia trip and
That'll do it to you.
and
That'll do it to you.
stop being Mormon. And as soon as I stopped being Mormon and was free from being a father and a husband, that's when I started doing stand up in Waikiki,
In Hawaii.
In Hawaii, I lived in Alaska for the second time. That time in witness protection, and then
Wow.
and then decided to.
Dude, this is all right. So my dad told me a story on the drive to. I was driving him to my brother's shop, and I always forget that my dad's lived many lives because I only know him as my dad from that's it. But he told me a story of how they used to go to Austin, like for a big construction job, and they would just take a rickety plane, like every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, just so they didn't have to drive 3 hours, 4 hours, because there was no 290 back then.
Yeah.
And you just forget all that stuff, like, oh yeah, you live a life. And it's just weird. It's strange to think of, like, you know so much about a person, and it's like, oh, they just drop a dime on you, like, oh yeah, my dad made, what's it called in Chicago? O-Block.
What's that? What's O-Block?
O-Block is where Chief Keef is originally from.
What's
He's
that?
he's a famous rapper, a very gangster rapper.
Yeah.
It's just like, all right, you forget all this kind of little shit.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Living a long time, lots of shit happens to you.
Yeah.
And you don't really appreciate it when you're 25. It seems like none of that shit will happen to you. But trust me, man.
Dude,
it's a winding fucking path.
You know what I call it? It's there's a couple terms for it. It's type 1 fun. That's like stuff that's really fun in the moment and you'll remember it and it's really fun. Type 2 fun is not fun in the moment, but you'll remember it for the rest of your life.
Yeah, bear attacks.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Bear attacks?
Yeah. I was
fair share of those?
Oh God, dude, yes.
I mean, over
Really?
there
in Alaska, we have a bad problem with bears. My friend's baby got eaten by a bear.
Jesus.
Yeah, they think because you don't know, because they were out picking blueberries. It was so fucking sad. they were picking blueberries, and their little girl, just like 18 months, 2 years old, was just kind of toddling behind him as everybody just lazily picks blueberries in this open meadow in the middle of fucking nowhere, and nobody hears a thing, and then they hear a noise in the trees off to their right, 100 yards away, and they see a bear running into the trees, and they turn around and their Rosalie is gone.
Ooh.
And there's nowhere else that it could.
I know we laughed at that, but that is horrible.
Oh, dude. And I went to church with them and was their elders quorum president and fucking cried with them about it. And
damn.
It happened before I moved there, but I moved there and got to know them right after it happened.
I'm sorry for laughing, but you caught us off guard with just a fucking... You threw a straight left at us and just...
Yeah. So, and I've been charged by a ton of bears, and it's a problem. You always carry a sawed-off shotgun with you when you go outside.
What do you do? What do I do if I run into a bear?
Shoot it a whole bunch of times with a 12 gauge.
Does bear spray work?
Not really. It works sometimes. It works until it doesn't. But it doesn't work as well as a 12 gauge slug.
Man. Okay. I'm worried about bears now.
Yeah, we're in Houston, dude. You're fine.
I don't ever leave Houston.
They are only out during the summer, but it kind of ruins camping. Because they would just...
my parents, like I said, they went over there, and they're like, every 20 minutes we saw a bear crossing the fucking gravel road to the fucking North Pole or whatever.
I was standing tits deep in a icy cold river fishing for salmon one time, and a bear the size of a truck came out of the trees, just sprinting to me through the water like it was nothing. Yeah. And he was trying to bluff charge me away from the fish that I'd caught so that he could eat those fish. He didn't want to kill me, thank God.
You shoot that motherfucker?
I had my gun out and was going to shoot it, but it turned away.
Oh,
Damn,
man.
bluff charge. That's new underwear central right there.
Yeah.
I didn't have a shotgun at the time. I had a pistol.
Oh.
I don't know how that would have gone.
45?
357 Magnum.
Okay, yeah, that I was about to say. 45 will do nothing to him, even though that's the Lord's caliber.
I feel like a bear that big, like no gun is gonna.
Well,
No,
you
can
have to
sit 'em
wait till
down.
it gets really close. So that's why I waited so long, because you have to wait till it gets really close with that gun, because you've only got 5 shots in the revolver that I had.
Mhm.
So you kind of got to wait till right at the.
In a shotgun, you got 2.
You got 5, but it's harder to miss because
Yeah.
it's a long gun, and I don't know. I just didn't feel as confident shooting it from far away with a 357. 357 is the same diameter of a bullet as a 9mm that cops use, but it's just got more power.
grain behind it. Damn.
So
Okay, I want to get back on track. I want to know more about your wife. And okay, so we're back. She's back in Salt Lake City.
back in Salt Lake City.
She's butt naked in front of...
Your dad's getting settled in. He's doing plays, and she's naked having panic attacks.
She and I moved to Evanston, Wyoming, to a haunted house, which we didn't know was haunted.
Why'd you move to Evanston?
Because I got a job managing a rent-to-own furniture store in Evanston, and we just called. I'd never been to Evanston before. The company was going to transfer me there, so I just called Century 21, just like, what's the cheapest house in Evanston? And she's like, buddy, we got a deal for you. $150 includes the heat. It's been vacant for a number of years. We just want somebody to live in it so the local kids will stop smashing the windows out. So I was like, okay, I don't even need to see it. So she's like, great, I'll leave the keys into the mat. So I roll into Evanston, open up the doors of this haunted house, move our stuff in there.
How do you know it's haunted? Do you does it have
I
a
don't know
rickety
it's haunted at this point. I don't know that it's haunted, but I'm talking to somebody one day at church, and we'd at this point lived there for a number of months, 4 or 6 months. No idea that it's haunted, and somebody at church goes, "Hey, we haven't stopped by and said hello to you yet at your house. What's your address?" And I said 447 Front Street, and the guy writes it down, and he goes, 447 Front. That can't be right. That's the Stefanik house. And I'm like, what? And he's like, you live right across the street from the Food King? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, that's the Stefanik house. That guy got possessed by the devil and killed his whole family, and then drove around town killing people until he launched his pickup truck through the front of the windows of the police station. And the cop exorcised the demon with a 12 gauge, basically, killed him. And then the next person that moved in there after they cleaned the house up, died mysteriously on the couch. They said of fright. His hair turned white, and so nobody had rented it for years. It lain dormant. People knocked windows out of it and stuff like that. So we just moved in there.
Was it fine for the first 4 months?
It's fine the whole time.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There was the general feeling like you were being watched, but like only after we knew that it was haunted.
Oh, okay. So then it's just your mind playing tricks on you.
Yeah. But I would have stayed.
Really?
For $150 a month. I mean,
Yeah.
You can watch me all you want.
What year was this?
This was 1990.
1990.
Wow.
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So we live there. We save a lot of money. We buy a franchise of a national cleaning company that cleans commercial buildings. and the franchise is available in Orlando.
God damn.
So we pay our money, buy this franchise, go, and they teach us how to be professional cleaning companies. And I work really hard. My wife starts having kids, and Mormon wives don't work outside of the home. So
it's just you.
It's just me, and I'm crushing it. I'm good at sales. I go and there's a lot of really good bars and chains of restaurants and things like that around the Orlando area. So I just start going door to door and meeting people and knocking on doors and just doing the shit that they told me to do in the classes I took for the franchise, and it works, and I make fuck tons of money, and I hire a whole bunch of Haitian employees that hardly speak the language and don't understand pay periods or tax withholdings and are always trying to fight with each other. So, but it's just this whole adventure. So
wow.
A few years after doing that, this dude approaches me, this like squared away military looking dude. He's like, hey, I just got out of the Navy. Tells me he was trying to be a SEAL and then jumped out of an airplane and like fucked up his shoulders, and he showed me these gnarly scars on his shoulder.
Blake Jones.
Yeah. So he tells me that he's got this money and he's always been interested in the cleaning business because it seems like a good business, and he doesn't know about it, so he wants to buy half of a business and use it as a way to kind of learn the business. So
slow roll your way in, yeah.
Yeah. And at this time, I had just been robbed in a fairly gnarly thing where I'd been duct taped up and kind of taken hostage while these guys robbed this restaurant on New Year's. And so I was kind of PTSD'd out from the business a little bit. So I was looking for somebody big and strong that could help me shoot the bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have a 12 gauge full of bear pellets.
I've had enough, at 25, I've had enough excitement to last me a lifetime.
Oh, so you're 25 at this point.
I'm very young.
Jeez.
Yeah. The business does so well that on my own, without a cosigner or anything like that, I save up a big down payment, qualify for a mortgage, buy a nice house, at 22 or 3 or something like that. So things are going well. Business in Orlando is popping and just can't grow fast enough. And so
in Orlando, the nightclub life, I
Yeah.
imagine that, you're still Mormon at this point, correct?
Still Mormon, yeah. Still very Mormon.
Yeah, you don't want to see any of these Latinas getting feisty in the clubs.
It was Haitian people,
women.
Haitian guys coming over dating really fat American black ladies, which is they love.
That's their bread and butter, proverbially saying.
Fat women in Haiti that's like what they want. That's
really?
Like what they look at pictures of is really heavy, like Lizzo.
Yeah.
But before Lizzo was a thing, and American black chicks
They should have went to Alaska and saw all the black bears over there. Dude, they would have loved those guys. Just salmon fed. Maybe that's who's took Rosalie. Maybe.
Oh, I can't laugh about that. That was
sorry.
They're good people.
And then
this
this Navy SEAL guy.
Yeah, so Jonathan Hirsch, I just got a letter from the parole board this week telling me how they voted this last time. But, so he...
this is a tie back into the witness... okay.
So this guy is the guy that, after I know him for a short time, confesses to me that he killed a bunch of people. Tells me all these incidences where he kills.
Under one context, you guys are just sitting at your house or something.
You can't shut him the fuck up about it. It's all you change the subject because I think he's lying at this point because he's talking about it. So, like, if you really had killed a bunch of people, the last thing you would do is tell some Mormon dude who you'd known for a few months all about it. So I think obviously he's just trying to because it started off with him telling me.
He's just trying to rattle you.
Yes,
or something.
It started off with him telling me stories from being in the Army and shit.
Yeah.
Right.
And told me that he drowned some chick in Panama during a war game where they were just out in the jungle. Red team evade blue team. They were training a bunch of Panamanian forces and stuff like that. And some lady from the village came down to fill a 5-gallon bucket full of water from the creek and went down there and saw these dudes camoed out hiding in her local stream. And so she started to scream, and without even thinking, he just pulled her down under the water and drowned her in front of all these dudes who were like just kind of watched in shock. These Panamanian force guys that kind of
Did they win?
I don't know.
Oh.
Well, they kicked his ass out of the Army for that. For that, yeah.
Jeez.
Did not court-martial him or anything and let him re-up into the Navy. So he joined the Navy because he wanted to be a SEAL. And then, according to him, washed out of the training program for the SEAL program because he got fucked up in a jump and couldn't complete his training. And so he became an admiral's driver for the rest of the time of his enlistment.
But then he gets out, he meets you, he's got some change, he buys into the business.
And
then he's just telling you some crazy shit.
Then he just won't stop talking. He doesn't want to work, doesn't want to actually clean. He's worthless he's entertaining, because he never stops talking, but on the other hand, he never stops talking, And can't shut him up about killing people, and then I think he can tell that I don't believe him, so he starts telling me more and more and more detail as a way to prove that he did what he did, and then he tells me that he killed his mother-in-law, which is a specific enough story that I can
You can backtrack it.
Yeah, so I'm like, I think maybe he killed his mother-in-law because he just tells me he won't shut the fuck up about it once he tells me.
All right, these killings, are they like in this area? So in Miami, right?
I'm in Orlando. He doesn't tell me where they are.
Oh, he just says, like, I've been doing this.
He tells me where some of them are. He tells me that he killed this former employee of ours, and he actually takes me out and shows me the grave. But I don't believe him because why would you do that? Why would you kill one?
Went to the grave like just you two?
Yeah, just me and him.
Why would you do that?
Because I don't think he's telling me the truth.
Even if I didn't believe him, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably not going to be alone with this guy.
We're out there for other reasons, but he takes me out into this 5 acres that he owns and takes me out into the jungle out
brush,
there.
Yeah.
And basically tells me that he put Troy through a wood chipper right here.
Whoa.
And I'm like,
Wood
I don't
chipper.
believe him.
Not Troy.
Yeah.
Fuck. Did you ever look into Troy?
I did, and he was lying.
Oh, okay. So
I found a mugshot of Troy years later, but at this time I think he's lying. But when I find out what he tells me about the mother-in-law, it makes me think that he really did kill Troy. Because at this point, Troy just disappears.
Was the mother-in-law?
The mother-in-law was dead. So the way I found out about that is, so he tells me on Thanksgiving, because he and one of the guys that worked for us fucked up a door at a restaurant. The only time that it has to be painted with epoxy, so it can't be painted on a day that they're open. So we have to do it on a day that they're closed, which is Thanksgiving. He and I fight about which one of us has to go do it. Neither of us wins, so we'd go to do it together. So both of our Thanksgivings are fucked up. So that's the kind of partnership it was. So he tells me on Thanksgiving, when it was just me and him all day alone painting this thing and watching the paint dry, all the details you would ever want to know about how he killed his mother. Enough where I thought, well, fuck, maybe he is telling me the truth. So I go back. This is before the internet. So I go back and on Black Friday, call the Yellow Pages through the private investigators section until I find somebody that answers the phone.
On Thanksgiving, some lonely guy.
On Black Friday, some divorced, retired New York City detective who had retired down to Florida. And I said, I got a story to tell you. Can I come down? And so I go to his office, tell him the story, and I'm like, there's this unsolved murder. Here's the parameters of how it happened. Here's everything that I know. And can you find out if there's an unsolved murder that matches that scenario?
Damn.
Of how he killed her. And then get back to me. And he's like, we're going to do the right thing if I find out there is one, right? And I'm like, yeah. So, I shook hands with him.
What does that mean?
That means...
I didn't know at that point what that meant. But I never hear from this fucking guy again. But a couple days later, some homicide detectives from Cincinnati knock on my door in Orlando and like 11 o'clock at night. And they ask if I would come down to the police station. They want to question me about this homicide that they've been working that I know all the shit that wasn't in the newspaper about.
Damn. So you're just a good Samaritan.
Yeah. Just a good Samaritan. Just because...
I mean, the guy is a fucking lunatic. That's why.
Yes, he's either trying to scare me so that he can... at this point, he's trying so hard. He's trying to do something.
But he bought into the business,
He bought into the business, but I'm wondering, is he trying to scare me away from my half?
Yeah. By
acting like a psycho? Or... is he a psycho? And I gotta know. So I kind of have to know which way it is. Right. So back then you couldn't just Google stuff. You had to hire a private investigator. So that's
some divorced guy. He's chain smoking in a Corolla.
Yeah. No, he was in a little office when I talked to him, but just looked very much like a police detective.
What did they come up with?
What?
Did they come up with anything on this John Hurst guy?
Yeah. So they found the murder. He'd gone to Cincinnati, and he had waited for her while she came out to start her car in the morning, and had stuck a fillet knife down into the hollow point of her thing and gone like this. So he got her jugular vein and her carotid artery and her spinal cord, and all in one go, but no external blood.
And he was still married to this girl.
Still married to her mom. and then he hid and waited for her
He
to
murdered
the mother-in-law.
The mother-in-law, but he's still married to the girl.
Still married to the girl.
And
Yeah.
she doesn't know. He hid this for that long. He got away with it from that long.
She knew.
God damn, what a twist.
What?
She knew.
What?
Which she confessed to me, which came out in trial and was very pivotal.
Whoa.
Yeah.
She probably had time, too.
No. I don't think she knew about it ahead of time. There was no evidence to that. But I asked her when she called me, because they basically were like, hey, we have to arrest him, obviously.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you have to leave because he's got friends probably in the military that would come over and at a minimum scare you.
Yeah.
At a maximum, we'd never find you. So especially if these things that he's telling us are true, he'd confessed to me like 60-something murders and stuff like that. People that he had killed. So I'm talking all night long. I talk to these cops and tell them everything that I can remember that he's ever told me. But the only murder that I knew all the details about was the mother-in-law. So that's the reason I was talking to them, because they were the cops that had for a year or two been working this murder.
Damn.
And they found out that she had told her daughter that she better be nice to her because she just gotten a $1 million life insurance policy and she was the beneficiary. And he heard that, and
he saw money signs.
She was dead a few days later.
And then he bought into the business.
And then but she had been lying about that, drunk and lying to her daughter about that just as a way of manipulating her. So there was no life insurance policy. If there would have been a life insurance policy, they would have seen that. They would have looked at him for motive and seen that was a motive and would have arrested him.
But there was none.
Because there was no motive, they never questioned him. So it wasn't until they put two and two together that it was that because he had told me the detail about her lying about the thing. So they said, we have to arrest him and you have to leave. And that means that your business is going to crash. So that's not fair, is it? And I'm like, no.
So you get a settlement.
And they're like, so here's what we want you to do. We're going to wait for a few days. You tell him that you're freaked out about that robbery. You still got PTSD and you can't bear it anymore and you want out. So you're going to sell him the other half of the business for as much cash as he can come up with, even take his vehicles and trade. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, because that's not fair, right? Because it's not fair that you... And I'm like, yeah, that's not fair. So they wait for me to make this deal with him. Me now knowing that he did all this shit, trying to keep my shit together while I talk to him and pray like there's nothing going on. I had to win an Academy Award just for that because he never
suspected.
He never smelled a fart. So he got me all the money he had, all the money he could borrow from his mom, all the money he could have used for a lawyer.
Yeah.
Oh.
And he bought the other half of the business for me. Then while I was leaving, I watched the police surround that restaurant and arrest him.
Wow. Dude, that's straight out of a fucking movie.
Yeah.
Whoa. How old are you at this point?
Damn, I can imagine Al Pacino playing you.
25, 26, 27.
Okay. And then so you left Orlando. Where do you
fly
go?
my family there. I take
Your family. How do you have kids at this point?
I got a wife and two kids and a
You
little brother that
two
works
kids.
for me. Yeah.
Okay.
So, wife and two kids fly up to Anchorage that day. Just gone. Because I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. I not sleeping a wink, hang out for a few more days while I make the deal with with him.
With the devil.
And then drive to just load as much pictures and stuff like that into my van as I can. And me and my brother drive from Orlando all the way across the U.S., all the way up the Alcan Highway through.
It probably took a month.
It took 2 or 3 weeks.
Jeez.
Across dirt roads. Fucking crazy. The Alcan Highway. I don't know
Wow. And then that probably, trials last forever. So that probably was.
They told us 6 months when they first.
6 years.
They said, we're going to ask for a fast because it's, your family's in hardship up there. So, but just continuances and back and forth and just delays. It ended up 2.5 years until the trial. And he was found guilty and sentenced
Did you
to
have
life
to be
in prison.
a witness or anything?
Yeah, it was all me. There was no physical evidence. So it was just me for days talking.
Just him staring at you.
Yeah.
God, I wonder what he did with
On
the knife.
TV cameras everywhere.
Fuck.
Newspaper reporters. It was a big deal in Cincinnati.
God, I wonder what he did with the knife. That's crazy. So you can't go back to Cincinnati. How long you chilling?
I've never been back to Cincinnati. I've never been back to Orlando.
Orlando.
They arranged to have
Well,
my
you
house.
don't need to go back there. That place is a shithole.
Well, I owned a house there at this time,
Oh, wow.
which
A nice house.
which we had rented by a property management company. The district attorney helped us get that all squared away, and we basically gave them our mortgage book. Back in the day, before everything was electronic, you actually tore a paper coupon out of a book and wrote a check on it and sent it to the bank, and that's how you paid your mortgage. You had to have a little coupon with it. And so they had the coupon book. They rented out the house, and then I went to Alaska, and I wasn't allowed to check in with them at all. So from the courthouse, I call them after he gets found guilty, and I'm like, "Hey, this is Steve Cantwell. How's my house?" And they're like, "Who?" And I'm like, "You guys have been," and they're like, "Well," and I'm like, "Is Todd there?" And they're like, "Todd hasn't worked here in 2 years." So we're like, so I find out that my house has been repossessed because we never made any mortgage payments for 2.5 years.
So we thought Todd was taking care of this.
Yeah. So they rented it for 2 years or something like that, and then Sunbank repossessed it and sold it at auction.
Who rented it?
Now, some people that they found.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they had 2 years worth of rent money for me, but they were like, "Why didn't you pay your mortgage?"
Nobody called
That's
me.
so crazy. Nobody could call me.
Yeah, because you're on witness protection.
Which we explained to Todd, but who got fired right after we left before they ever made the first mortgage payment, so there was no record in the accounting of one payment being made. So he got fired and didn't tell anybody what the fuck, so
how bad did you get fucked from that?
It fucked my credit. Fucked forever. So I took that money that I'd gotten from the rent and with fucked credit just bought naked land outside of Anchorage, 2 acres on a hillside of just woods. Yeah. And then camped on the land like Paul fucking Bunyan.
Just
with
you and the bears.
Me and my kids and the bears living in a Volkswagen pop-up van that I had driven from Florida.
God damn.
And with it, just took a chainsaw and then had no money because they basically cut me, so I started a little cleaning business, and I just would earn enough money to rent a bulldozer, and then I would rent the bulldozer, and I would scrape it off flat, and then I would earn enough money for a backhoe, have a backhoe delivered, teach myself how to drive a backhoe, It's
really not that hard.
The basement. Yeah.
Dude, my dad taught me when I was like 6 how to use a fucking excavator.
Yeah. But I did this over the course of 10 years, no instructions before YouTube.
Yeah.
With nobody giving me instructions on the dark side of the moon, and slowly built, a 3,500 square foot house.
Ooh, nice.
With a bunch of cool features in it. Buried a rail car in the hillside underneath it that we built like a bomb shelter into, and just.
What was that for? Just
Mormons,
paranoid?
Mormons all think that the end of the world is coming, so all Mormons.
Were you still, what was it called, tithing?
Yeah.
I think at that point.
Yeah, I was a clergy member. I was an elders quorum president at this time. All Mormons are supposed to have a 2-year supply of food and everything, and so that's what we kept in that rail car, was all of our food. Sounds and like big barrels of diesel fuel.
Sounds like a pretty nice crib. You still got it?
No. So sold that and my business when we moved to Hawaii.
Okay.
And bought 2 sailboats. The plan was to just
sail around,
live on the sailboat as a family, and the 6 of us. Basically, we're gonna
6 people on one sailboat.
2 sailboats.
2
so
sailboats.
Your brother's still with you?
For saved. No, my brother got married and moved away, but
you got 4 kids now?
I got 4 kids now, so we were the plan was just for 2 sailboats, because if one gets in trouble, you can rescue the other one. We were just gonna roam the globe essentially, and just you can live very cheaply if you don't have to pay for gas or anything like that. So
yeah.
So that was the plan, but went to Waikiki, showed my kids the sailboats that I bought. Everybody hated it.
Really?
Everybody hated it but
Why?
me.
Bad color paint or
like just seasick. It smells, just bitch. And what they
and
wanted
you're
to
trying to sell them on the dream.
Yeah, what they wanted to do, because this was the first time they'd ever lived in a warm city, so they wanted to just go lay on the beach and, try to sneak martinis out of the fucking ABC store, and just they wanted to just basically live like movie stars on the beach with the money that we had. So
That was probably the better idea.
And it wasn't that much money.
we owned the house outright, and we owned a giant business outright, so it was substantial.
So the business said, okay.
The business over the course of the 10 years that we had been up there, it grew. It grew by leaps and bounds because we knew what we were doing from Orlando, and my wife was friends.
How many
with
Haitians you guys get up there in the cold?
0.
So who'd you guys get?
White people.
All right.
White
Well,
people.
not as clean.
I think there were some of them. I don't know what they were. White people, Eskimos.
So they didn't like the boats.
No, hated the boats. I liked the boats. I sold one of the 2 boats, the lesser of the 2 boats. My accountant in Alaska told one of her clients the story that we were going to go live on sailboats. So he did what we did, contacted me by email, and was like, "Hey, she told me that your kids don't like the boats, but I like the idea of selling my house up here. I'm done with winters. I'm going to come move down there and live on a boat like you are." He's like, "Will you sell me your boat right now? You don't even have to send me pictures." So he wired me the money for this boat. I have to sit on it for a month while he sells all of his shit in Alaska and comes down there. Never met him before. He gets out of the taxi and he's like 400 pounds. Which he did not mention.
Yeah, they never
and
do.
At this point, I've been sitting on this fucking boat for 2 months after he's paid for it, just basically babysitting him. So he gets on there, and he cannot fit through the door.
The porthole?
No, the door to go downstairs. I try to shove on him, and it gets to the point, there's no chance. There's no chance he's getting down there.
No.
So you sold a boat to a grizzly bear?
Bigger than yes. Yes. And the last time I ever saw him, he was sitting on the sidewalk.
Crying.
Looking like he wants to cry because he had just fucked himself. So
he bought it. It's over, dude.
You bought it, you got it. I'm not going to put it back on the market. He wanted to know if I wanted to buy it, and I was like, no, I do not.
No.
I mean, he could just sell it to somebody
They can't
else.
make the doors bigger?
Well, he ended up selling it to somebody, but he's got to stay there, get a hotel. He's
Probably
gotten
take a
rid of
loss.
everything. He has taken everything in his life and
No
just
kids, no family.
completely unencumbered. But he showed up with one suitcase. He'd pared his life down to one suitcase because he was going to live the nautical life.
Probably should have thought to mention, like, hey.
By the way,
he probably died of his own hand. I gotta figure.
oh, that's
he jerked off that much?
I see what you did there. Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, so what happens after the sailboats? Where do you guys go?
So
this is also where you start doing comedy.
Well, so for about 6 months, my wife gets this idea. She doesn't like to sail, but she wants to have threesomes. So she starts getting 20-something-year-old girls that she finds in Waikiki Beach, tourist girls, and talks them into coming over to the sailboat and having a threesome with me. And
to the sailboat?
To the sailboat. So the sailboat becomes our little orgy bungalow.
Where do the kids go?
We rent a nice condo right on the beach, right in the...
I got to ask, where does the Salvia trip take place? Just so I can get my...
Alaska.
So it's after Orlando.
It's after Orlando.
But
it's after I've been there for 10 years.
It's after Hawaii, though. You're still...
No, I go to Hawaii because of the Salvia trip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
but
okay,
and then
so
you were like thinking like, oh, my wife, this probably isn't work. But then threesome started.
I go into my friend's gun room on Christmas. We smoke Salvia together. I go into the worst place, dude. I go into another dimension. I live in Tyler, Texas for 8 years.
Oh.
And while I'm in Tyler,
wait,
I basically Google shit on the internet about trying to figure out why I know so much about Mormonism. basically end up over the course of 8 years talking myself out of the Mormon Church
During
being
the
true
Salvia trip.
During the Salvia trip.
Yeah.
Your
And then-
salvia trip
and then-
lasted 8 years?
No. You
In
like
your head.
when you take salvia, you basically live another life.
Yes. Sometimes it feels
Yeah.
like somebody. I read an account of somebody that took salvia and lived every day of 30 years as a coat of paint on a barn.
Yeah.
That sounds horrible.
It's horrible. I've never done it again. It was fucking horrible.
But it changed the trajectory of your life.
I stood up. I took salvia. Maybe 2 minutes later, got up as an atheist that didn't believe that money or anything was real. Had grieved my children as not only being gone, but I thought I was gone so long I thought I had imagined them. I thought I had brain damage and lived in Tyler. I thought I had
Whoa.
brain damage from a water
You're
skiing
Shutter
accident.
Island, dude. You were Leo in Shutter Island.
Yeah.
Something.
Okay.
So-
Whoa,
We're,
that's
we're at
crazy.
an hour, by the way.
All right, but he still's got to wrap this story. I mean, we still got a lot
This
to
is the
talk about.
never-ending story, but I'm entrenched in it.
So so we have threesomes. She slowly takes all the money out of the bank while I'm having sex with somebody besides her for the first time in 21 years, and I don't think money is real anyway, but she's pretty sure money's real.
Yeah.
She's got her eye on the prize, and she knows exactly what she's fucking doing. So when the money's all moved, she basically tells me she and the kids are gonna go peace out, and she leaves me. She talks her old high school boyfriend into leaving his wife and his kids.
Whoa.
And
She played the long game.
they and my money moved to Ohio.
Wow.
And
Yeah, that's a shithole.
Why would
anyways,
she
it's
go
fine.
to Ohio after everything that happened in Ohio?
She serendipitously moved because this dude, who's a nice dude, who she tricked into leaving his wife and kids. His wife and kids lived in the town where the murderer was incarcerated. He was in the Warren Correctional Facility in Ohio. So she moves back to Ohio, to the same county where he's in prison, and basically drives past the prison all the time.
Because of
Just
the guy
serendipity.
because of the guy from Dillingham.
Because the guy from Dillingham that she marries, his wife and kids live in the same town that the murderers that's in
fucking
prison.
odds?
It starts to seem like a simulation at a certain point.
Yeah, if I
maybe
was
we're all
on Salvia, I was like, wait a
Yes,
minute.
I'll tell you, Tyler seemed a lot more real than here.
What the fuck?
Because I worked on a farm in Tyler at a was not married, at a shitty apartment and basic cable. Now I live in this. I was in witness protection, and now I'm a stand-up comedian. What are the odds of that? That
Yeah.
sounds made up as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So how do you end up? So when is this? At what age did your wife leave?
40,
And how old are you now?
56.
Okay. 56. This is 16 years ago. When did you
Early
move
2000s.
when did you move to Houston?
9 years ago.
Okay. What brought you from Hawaii to?
So I was a stand-up comedian. I was very popular on the radio. Had an afternoon drive radio show on K-Rock, which is like where I was the wacky sidekick of this guy that used to work for Howard Stern.
In Hawaii.
This is at the time when Howard Stern goes to. I'm trying to wrap it up.
No, yeah. Well, I got to know what time is, because I got to run over to Secret. All right, we're good. We got a
Okay.
couple.
In a nutshell, Youngblood, celebrating the fact that he has opened the secret group, him and a bunch of his buddies.
In Hawaii.
Come to
'Cause
Hawaii.
He's always in
Uh-huh.
Hawaii.
Yeah, loves Hawaii. Comes in, and I have just a killer show there because I have a radio
Yeah,
show, so I
everybody's-
can draw like a motherfucker. So he comes and does this show of mine, and is like, the whole time he's telling me, hey, you gotta try if you like this, you should try Houston. Houston's amazing comedy. So he's talking my ear off about Houston, and he's like, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna put you on a week of shows in Houston. Come check it out. So I come, check it all out, and it's fucking good. I see how much funnier the people in Houston are than the people in Hawaii, where there's 20 comics,
20 comics, maybe 5 spots a week.
and not really paid spots, and not in front of real good crowds most of the time. So mostly what I've got going for me in Hawaii is the radio show. So I come here, try it for a week, make friends with Scotty, Rich Williams, and I'm sold. I go back to Hawaii. I sell my everything. I sell my sailboat. Quit my job.
The last sailboat.
Yeah.
The last sailboat.
I sell it to my girlfriend at the time, who's this girl from the Peace Corps that had stayed in Orlando, had stayed in Waikiki to date my wife and I. So she had kind of stayed loosely, and so she bought the sailboat. She bought the whole Steve Cantwell package, bought everything I had, and I moved to Houston.
Wow.
Dude, that's crazy. And now you're here, and now you're doing our fucking podcast in front of a bunch of gay dudes.
That's right.
Yeah.
That happens.
God, that was amazing, Steve.
Thank you.
Dude,
That
this
was
is
incredible.
by far the best one we've ever had, and it was
We say that every time.
no.
Every single person, this is it.
Bro.
every twist and turn, it felt like a D&D adventure.
Yeah, well,
I had no control over.
That was amazing. We got all the Steve Cantwell in an hour somehow. There's probably so much more.
That's a scratch on the surface.
Guys, that is our podcast, Choke City. Follow us. Like and subscribe, please. Follow me on Instagram at the John Meyer. Follow David. And also, if you guys really like Steve, say you really like Steve.
Just come out to the secret group.
Whenever. Yeah. Say you like Steve so we can get him back on here because he's probably got more stories for us. Steve, thank you, man, for doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right,
Bye.